and we beat the Trump-Putiners, and we beat their censorship, and we beat the fascism. We haven't beat it all yet, obviously, but we beat a lot of it today. We did the turning point for USA. So thanks, Jimmy Kimmel. Thanks, everybody, for helping win for Jimmy Kimmel and for America, for Americans. We won! Super excited. I said I was going to go live for um, the time that Jimmy Kimmel would be on, which I think is around this time. But I might be running a little bit late. But that's fine, because I didn't want people who are really looking for me here anyway. But hopefully you found me, and hopefully when you find me, you'll enjoy the show. Probably not going to go live for as long as Jimmy Kimmel would have been on. We'll see how it goes. They've been going so long lately. I mean, I don't let anything go longer than an hour, but they've been going pretty long. So anyway, super excited to see Jimmy Kimmel tomorrow. Super excited. I mean, for Jimmy Kimmel and for what it means for all of us helping get him back on the air, but also for what it means for Trump, like that he's getting shut down. That like Jimmy Kimmel's stronger than him. Jimmy Kimmel beat Trump. Jimmy Kimmel and the truth. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel had the truth on his side, but Jimmy Kimmel and the truth and the force of all his people. I don't mean to say that Jimmy Kimmel did it himself, but I think what it comes down to is when we rallied around for Jimmy Kimmel, we were all a lot stronger than Trump. If we can rally for Jimmy Kimmel, we can rally for other things too. So I think it's a really great day. It's really like the turning point for USA, the turning point to end Trumpism, to end all this fascism. And yeah, we've got a lot more to do and a lot more to finish. It's not like we won the whole thing, but if it's the turning point, if it's the if this is the climax, and I thought it was going to be Pope Francis. Like I really thought that when Trump passed Pope Francis, we were going to be able to get him out of there pretty soon after that. And really, I thought when he called Biden a robot, that we should have just used that really obvious moment to get him out of there, and then we would have, saved Pope Francis and everybody else that he's hurt since then. And I still feel that way. I feel like now's the time. The sooner we get him out of there, the sooner we save the people he's going to hurt tomorrow and the next day and the next day and next week. But Jimmy Kimmel beating Trump and the American people beating Trump to get Jimmy Kimmel back on the air, to me, just says it all. Like, we've got this. We're going to win. We're going to keep winning. It's not like we're waiting for the midterms or something. Like, we have to dismantle this Trumpism now. And I think, for instance, we should be setting an example. The American people just set an example of how you get Jimmy Kimmel back on the air or how you stop Trump. You hurt their wallets. And when it comes down to it, if we can tell our representatives, hey, if you want to represent us, the people who just hurt their wallets to get Jimmy Kimmel back on the air, maybe you could vote to shut down the government. Just let the government get shut down and be like, look, y'all deal with this mess you made. But stop funding any of the stuff that Trump is doing the same way we stopped funding Disney just to get Jimmy Kimmel back. Y'all can do that for Medicare and Social Security and just our country, like democracy itself. Y'all can shut down the government for that. Like, we'll fix that part later, but just stop giving Trump any ability to do anything. I don't know that shutting down the government is the very best solution. I mean, I guess there could be a reason not to do it. That's just where my instinct went on this because I feel like, we were shutting down Disney Plus or shutting down Disney for they sided with Trump. And we should replicate that same strategy everywhere, in everything. But we really won. We got Jimmy Kimmel back. We beat Trump. We got to keep beating him. We got to keep beating him like a dead horse, but like keep beating him like a rug. Like keep beating him over and over and over again. We have to keep beating him. But we started beating him. Like this is one of the biggest victories, getting Kimmel back on the air. But anything would have been like if we'd stopped him from naming the Gulf of America, which we kind of did. I don't know. But he turned that into a whole thing. He kicked uh, news media out of the White House for not calling it Gulf of America. So, people acted like, oh, this is just a trivial Trump thing or whatever, but he'll turn anything into something bigger if you let him. So I'm glad we didn't let him. I'm glad Disney lost $4 billion for starting to let him. And that should be a lesson to these other corporations. You do not side with Trump. If you side with Trump against the American people, you'll get shut down. And we'll get to you eventually, but especially if you stick your neck out like this. The very first message I get, freaking, okay, let me just not assume it's a bad message. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a Nazi Trump pedophile message. Very first, somebody please type a comment in chat so we don't have to have the only message be the pedophile Trumper message. You know, like, anyway, Net and YouTube, do better. But yeah, I said I was gonna do a live. I said I was gonna keep going live until they put Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. Well, we won that. They put Jimmy Kimmel back on the air, but since he's not on the air yet, I figured I'd go live for today. I am in bed. TW says go to your bed. I'm in bed. I'm currently in bed. That's the whole theme of the pillow revolution. You can do it from bed. We can do it on our phones. See? Pillow. See? There's a pillow. We do it on our phones. We can do it while Jimmy Kimmel's off the air, which is only one more day. So I wanted to take advantage of people not having Jimmy Kimmel to watch tonight, and I would entertain you with this Puffin show. But rest assured, Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air tomorrow. We won. We beat Trump. And it's just the first of many, many beatings. Like, the beatings are about to rain down. I mean, maybe not the first. Like, they beat Target pretty good. They've beaten uh, some other companies, but we beat Disney this time. Beat old Disney, and got Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. We beat Trump, and beat Disney into coming back to America instead of their little fascist foray they did for a weekend. I think it's ironic that Charlie Kirk was demanding the Epstein files for a weekend, and Jimmy Kimmel got canceled for a weekend. And I think it's ironic that they killed Charlie Kirk to make him a martyr, and it didn't even work. And then they canceled Jimmy Kimmel for a weekend. Like, they gave Jimmy Kimmel a long weekend, and he's more of a martyr than Charlie Kirk is to the American people. So, TW is creepy. Creepy TW, sorry about that. But anyway, so thanks everybody for helping get Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. I mean, I don't know if I'm talking to the four of you or not, but I feel like I'm talking to at least one of you. Thanks for getting Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. I'll sing you a song about Kash Patel. I'll sing you a song making fun of Kash Patel in a second. But yeah, thanks for getting Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. Thanks for costing Disney $4 billion to show what the price is for siding with Trump. Thanks for just, for recognizing, realizing, actualizing your power. Like, we can do this again. We can do this to lots of different companies until we get our country back from Trump and the Trump-ootneers, the MAGA traitors. Anyway, this was a song I came up with last night for Kash Patel. It goes like this. Do you remember when the FBI on a meth bender? Cash was changing Tyler's roommate's gender while they're helping Groypers get away. Do you remember the FBI on a meth bender? Cash was changing Tyler's roommate's gender while they helped the Groypers get away. Anyway, and then the other song was Kash Patel, nobody believes your story. You're just Pateling on yourself. Kash Patel, your lies are really Civil War-y. Chat KGB writes the stupid bullshit you said. Anyway, congratulations. Thanks for getting Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. Thanks for costing Disney $4 billion for siding with Trump. Thanks for sending a message in advance to any other companies that think siding with Trump against the American people is going to be a good idea. It's not. We're going to win. And we should keep, dismantling companies that side with Trump, no matter how they do it, no matter how they stick their neck out there. I mean, It's not like we have that much boycott power over Cracker Barrel, I guess, because that was just like a stock thing. But yeah, we have a lot of power over a lot, and we might as well utilize it. Like, I don't know how much of a hit Coke took, but I feel like they probably took notice. Target definitely took notice. Um, I feel like there's some different companies out there that we'll get to them. I mean, I know there's other boycotts in the work and stuff, but this was really well done. This was really, I mean, I guess because Disney has so many customers and because this was such a high profile thing, it got a lot of people involved. It's not like you don't lose you don't lose $4 billion because people canceled $1 million subscriptions. Each person only canceled a 10, 20, 30, $50 subscription tops. So they lost $4 billion because millions of people canceled those subscriptions. That shows, like, that's important. It's important to make this decision and get Jimmy Kimmel back on there and be a tipping point, a turning point to turn on Trump and show how much power we have to stop Trump and encourage people to keep doing it. But that's almost the most important point. Is it got that many millions of people to realize the power they have and feel like, hey, you get a taste for power, especially a power like that where you're just using your power with a bunch of other people to do some good. You get a taste for that kind of power, you want to use it again. You want to find, hey, where do I apply my power next? I haven't used it myself. I probably should, or find out how good it is before advocating it. But the idea is good enough for me to remind you here. There's a app called Boycott, I think, Buicott, which just lets you like scan anything and see whether or not you need to boycott it or not. And I feel like that's the type of thing that once people realize this kind of power, that type of thing will take off. Once that type of thing takes off, once people make it easy to find out who the bad guys are, economically, just starve them. Just starve them out. Like, I think it's Goldman Sachs for um, the genocide, genocide they're doing in Gaza. I think it's Goldman Sachs. I mean, it's like a few of these banks, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's ones that you can say, okay, we're going to boycott any company that uses them for a bank. You know, like, yeah, you can say we're all going to pull our accounts too. I don't know how many people have Goldman Sachs accounts, but you can start boycotting the companies that do business with them. We got Jimmy Kimmel back. We beat Trump. It's just the first of many beatings, but the first one feels really good. I really appreciate everybody doing it. I really personally appreciate being able to watch the new Disney Star Wars series that are coming out because I'm really excited about them. And I was going to be bummed to have to cancel my subscription and not watch them. But all the people who canceled quick and effectively got them to change their mind. And now I think it's appropriate to reward Disney by being like, okay, you guys, you know, you made the wrong decision, but then you corrected. And so, yeah, we can get our prescriptions. We can get our subscriptions back, but give us a cheap rate. Give us that $2, $3 a month rate you give people sometimes. No, these people think no one watches Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel is extremely popular. I don't know how you guys all became TV Nielsen's ratings experts all of a sudden. KC said, LMAO, it won't be long because no one will watch him. No, I think his audience will probably double or quadruple if it's small. I don't think there's millions of people who watch him, but millions more people will watch him, like because Trump targeted him and because he's like a hero. He's an American hero. He's an icon of free speech now, much more than Charlie Kirk ever was, which is also hilarious because you made a martyr of Jimmy Kimmel trying to make a martyr of Charlie Kirk, and all you did to Jimmy Kimmel was give him a long weekend and cost Disney $4 billion. But look what they did to Charlie Kirk. Okay. Jake says irony is supporting Ukraine while vocalizing against Israel. Both have the same cause in common. How do you figure that? That's not ironic at all. It's ironic to support Israel and Ukraine. I support Ukraine because they got invaded. I support Gaza because they got invaded. I mean, there's more to it than that, but in both cases, one weaker country got invaded by a stronger country. You can try to make it about something else. But also, the guys who invaded Gaza killed Charlie Kirk, or they helped Trump do it. They helped Trump and Nick Fuentes Groypers do it. Uh, Jimmy Kimmel told the truth about that. Jimmy Kimmel was already an American hero, but he became like a 10 times American hero. He became like a history books American hero this time. You know, like, he could run for president. I really want Jasmine Crockett or AOC, or Jasmine Crockett and AOC. I want Jasmine Crockett for president. AOC for vice president, I think, is really the way to do it. Okay. KC says, clearly you don't look at the rating. You don't look at the rating either. That's what I'm asking. Are you trying to be Nielsen? You're trying to be some type of like, I understand TV ratings. Casey LMAO, look up his rating. You're all about his ratings. Adam, who even looks up ratings? Only Trump's the only person who talks about ratings. You people you're in a death cult with Trump, okay? It's a terrorist network. You just had one wing of your terrorist network, the Nick Fuentes Groyper wing, attack and kill Charlie Kirk from the Christian nationalist wing. Like, you're doing this to yourselves in order to try to blame us. It totally backfired on you. All you got out of it was you gave Jimmy Kimmel a long weekend. Casey's, you just showed how uneducated you are. Warren Graham says, ree hee 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 hee. And KC says, IDF is whopping that ass. Ooh, you're cheering on the genocide? You just literally, let's get KC's channel activity. Joined 5 years ago, has 2 subscribers. You're cheering on the genocide. Like, you're cheering a genocide. And you don't think that Trump Boutonnieres are Nazis? Casper says Charlie Squirt, which I haven't heard before. That's funny. Jake says, I support Gaza too. You have no idea what you're talking about with Ukraine, though, dude. Yeah, I pretty much do. Well, tell us what Putin tells you to say about Ukraine. Go ahead. Warren Graham says, goofy, ah. Marty McCrory says, Ukraine is and will be a sovereign country. Thank you. I agree. Ukraine has, like, never been invaded or conquered before, like, since ancient times. Ukraine's, like, badass. They have a lot of power there. They have magical power there. KC says LMAO because you don't want to see facts. Print some facts, KC. I'm reading out the comments. Print your facts. Hi, we won. We beat Trump. We got Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. Jimmy Kimmel's not on the air tonight, but he is on the air tomorrow. So I threatened, or I promised. I said, hey, I'm going to go live. Until you put Jimmy Kimmel back on there, I'm going to be going live again and again and again. Until you put Jimmy Kimmel back on there, you damn sure know you want Jimmy Kimmel on the air instead of me. So I'm a radical. I'm like a leftist. Jimmy Kimmel's like a centrist, but he's funny. And he's an American hero now. Jimmy Kimmel's in the history books. He's an American hero. Sixth Sense Amelia, hello. Nice to see you, Sixth Sense Amelia. Thanks for being here. KC says something about Netanyahu starting the fight in Gaza. Yeah, Netanyahu, Bibi's 9/11. How much did you want to know? Bibi's October 9/11. Marty McCorsky says, Canada supports Ukraine. Yes, thank you, Canada. Yes, we support Canada. In fact, I think we're going to be able to topple Trump here real quick. But just in case, backup plan, Canada and Mexico. Can we ask you guys nicely to consider annexing half of the USA each and then facilitating land back to the indigenous people? Think about it. You might want to give them some of your land too. Your land. You might want to give them some of your countries too. Or, think about it. That's the girl I had a crush on painted that painting. It is interesting. Sorry, I tried it. It's got glass on it, so it made a glare. It's really pretty. Somebody held a message. Casey says, I'm a Trump voter myself, but you're a dumbass to support Israel. See how this works? Don't support Israel. I mean, you can support Israel, but don't support Netanyahu. Don't support Zionists. Let's set some limits here. And it's understandable if you don't support Israel because of Netanyahu and the Zionists. But I'd have to allow that would mean you consider how people could not support America because of Trump and the Trump Boutonnieres. The Trump Boutonnieres, the Trump Nazis, the Trump terrorists, whatever you want to call them. It's reasonable to not support America anymore because of that. We split Germany in 2 countries. We split it. We split Germany into East and West Germany. Most of y'all probably aren't old enough, but we split Germany into two countries. Okay, after World War II. So if you split America into two countries and let Mexico run one half and let Canada run the other half, but especially if you let them know we're not planning on reuniting, we're planning on you just giving this land back to the indigenous people, letting them run it after taking it, taking a caretaker position. Do the same in Israel. Do the same in Russia. Y'all be careful who you're messing with. Jake C says he's a Trump voter, but you're a dumbass to support Israel, which is hilarious. It's just classic. It's just classic. You know, whose side are you on, the Zionists or the Christian nationalists? Like Charlie Kirk is a Zionist, and then the Christian nationalist wing of the Trump Putin terrorist network killed him. But it's Trump starting a civil war in his own ranks and then trying to get it to spill over. New Zealand supports Ukraine. Thanks, New Zealand. Thanks, Sinks Amelia. America supports Ukraine too. I think the entire world supports Ukraine. It's just Putin and Trump and his few more puppets he's got laying around. Casey says, LMAO, oh my God, Canada and Mexico together couldn't beat America. It's not about beating America. Canada barely has a military. It's not a war. It's you just annex half of America, and because America went full Nazi, America just says, yes, thank you. That's what I'm saying. You don't realize who you're dealing with here. Six Sense Amelia says, oh, I really like that. I don't know what you really like, but I appreciate you saying you really like it. Marty McCloskey says, Russia is a whole lot of trouble this winter. Is in a whole lot of trouble this winter. Oh, I agree. Russia's done for, dude. If they end that country, I'll be happy. Fuck them. Putin wasn't happy enough just having Russia. He wanted USSR back. We can keep splitting that bitch up. We can let there be no Russia left. I say carve it into three. Let Ukraine have a third. Let Turkey have a third. Let China have a third. No oil, no economy. Well, that too. Or you could just get Putin out of there, topple his regime, and let Russia keep being a country and have an economy and stuff like that. Imagine if Prigozhin had just marched a little further. Not that he would have been the best leader for Russia, but shit, better than Putin, especially if he turned on him literally for a reason. So anyway, hopefully Jimmy Kimmel will be a turning point for USA. Jimmy Kimmel will get us to turn around and stop this Trumpism. It'll be like the, whatever you call it, the high water mark for these fascists, and then it's going to recede and we'll get rid of them. We'll bail ourselves out. Jake says it goes back further than just Netanyahu, but let's talk about Netanyahu. I mean, you don't have to go on some whole history lesson. Netanyahu's the problem right now. And if we stop Netanyahu, if we stop Trump, if we stop Putin, like any of these three or all three of these three, we can end war entirely. Like not just the wars they're starting, we can end all war forever because it's such a scam what these guys have done to us. And drone technologies basically ended war anyway. Basically made most war obsolete. Warren Graham says, I low-key feel dumb. Well, don't. You're fine. Have more self-esteem. Have more self-esteem. Have it. Have more self-esteem. Have more self-esteem now. Feel better about yourself. Everybody deserves to feel better. Casey says, LMAO, you are truly far from reality. Six Sense Me says, I really like these paintings. Yeah, me too. That painting is so beautiful. I fell in love with that girl. Prince Navalu says hi. Hi, Prince. Marty. MK Sorley says, I have a feeling Jimmy's going to need security details from MAGA. Well, we all need security details from MAGA. Just needs to chill out. MAGA needs to realize that they're in a terrorist network. It's not like everybody in Al Qaeda or ISIS was running around, shooting things or making IEDs or something. Some of them were just, their wives or whatever. Stop being the wives. Stop being, just quit it. Like you're doing this to yourselves. You're doing it to all of us too, but you're also doing it to yourselves. You're all the products of fear mongering, lies, all this stuff. It comes from Putin. Putin makes all this stuff up to destroy America. You're helping him. Think about it. Like, you could, like, coming out of a bad trip or waking up out of a nightmare, you could wake up in like a month or a week or tomorrow, or you could wake up right now, or you could wake up in like 3 years or something and look back and be like, whoa, I was helping destroy America. That guy on the live was right. Jimmy Kimmel was right. I was helping destroy America. Well, stop helping destroy America. Putin's trying to destroy America. Trump's trying to destroy America. Stop helping these jokers. They're terrible. Start helping Jimmy Kimmel and the American people. Like, we'd all just got Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. We did that. The American people did that. We beat Trump in this little thing, although it's not little. Everything's big when it comes down to it. And this is actually a pretty big deal. But we beat Trump, and we're going to keep beating Trump. We're going to beat him like a rug. I have a feeling Jimmy's going to need security to do social media. Jake says, bro, no, you almost there, but a couple crayons short of the full back to school pack. Mr. Turtle Duck's here. Hi, Mr. Turtle Duck. He's been a frequent viewer of the live. Thanks for being here. We're celebrating Jimmy Kimmel back on the air and that we won. We beat Trump. We cost Disney $4 billion. We sent a lesson to the rest of corporate America. We're coming for you. Do not side with Trump. We already sent that lesson through Target. I don't know what they were thinking. Target. Anyway, I don't know how many millions they cost, how many billions they cost Target. I think they cost Target half its value. Half the value of that company was deleted because they caved into Trump and got rid of their DEI program. They could have just kept their DEI program and they would have been a company. Now they're like going to be like Kmart. I mean, it helps Walmart out, but still, Walmart didn't go as bad, even though I feel like they supported Trump. Like, anyway. Little Fun says, can I please buy the painting? By the way, nice hair. Thank you. Sure, you can buy the painting. I mean, I'm still using it. You can see it's still there. I'm still using it. I'll make you another one, though. The real Bill Sowers, 1488, says, you are morally bankrupt. 6 cents a million says, Reagan did exactly the same Trump is doing now. Yeah, I was around for the Reagan years. He was an asshole, dude. He told us when we were kids in school that we had to practice, just like they have school shootings now, except I guess theirs are scarier. Like, ours wasn't this scary. I mean, it was scary in a different way. But what they have today in America is a lot of school shootings, right? It sucks. It's terrible. It's got to suck to be kids today. With school shootings is one of the things you have to worry about. And they do drills for the school shootings. Well, when I was a kid in the 80s, we did drills for fucking nuclear attack. And our drills were to get under our desks. And it was stupid, because all you did was get under your desk and think about how, like, only an idiot would think this makes any fucking difference. Nuclear attack means you're all dead. So why do we have to practice getting under our desks and thinking about a nuclear attack, every week or some shit? It's just some Nazi Reagan shit. Nazi fascist shit. That's one reason I've been against Nazis and fascists my entire life. Is because I grew up with Reagan doing that shit. Anthony says, suspension of Jimmy got extended. No, it didn't. The suspension didn't get extended. He was off for, 2 days? Friday and Monday? Jimmy Kimmel had a long weekend. Charlie Kirk had a long dirt nap. Hey, man, the painting. Lil Tim says, I want one you can just make another one for yourself. Okay. That's cool. This one will probably be worth a lot of money. It's been in a lot of my videos. Marty McCloskey says, billionaires and corporations are the ones that need to be held accountable. Well, we held them accountable, but we need to hold Trump accountable. Trump is a billionaire and corporation too, but mostly Trump's a fascist and a Nazi and a traitor and a pedophile. Don't let me forget pedophile. And we have to hold him accountable for that. 6 cents a million says, I don't know who Jimmy Kimmel is. Different TV, etc. here. But I'm glad the small win that people have had with freedom of speech. Yeah, but I mean, a win for freedom of speech is a win for freedom of speech. It can be just for, anybody, and it's a win for freedom of speech. So, yeah, but Jimmy Kimmel is one of the 3 late-night talk show hosts. You probably have late-night talk show hosts in Australia because I think other countries have used the same tradition that I think America possibly pioneered. But Jimmy Kimmel is probably the best one. He's probably the funniest one currently on. Some of our, real famous ones include Johnny Carson and Dave Letterman. And, gosh, I really like the original ones, too. I really like people who are before my time. Like George Burns and uh, why can't I remember his name right now? He's like the most famous one. Anyway, he's awesome. Can't remember his name right now. It's not coming to me. Jack Benny. Jack Benny. Jack Benny show's hilarious. Watch the Jack Benny show sometime. But there were a lot of guys from back in the day in the black and white TV eras. Now, Dave Letterman and Craig Ferguson were some of the best. Um, Conan O'Brien. Gosh, Conan O'Brien was maybe the best. Conan O'Brien, Dave Letterman, Craig Ferguson, they were some of the best. But right now, we have Jimmy Kimmel, who's the best. Seth Meyers is pretty good. Aaron, uh, what's his name? Jimmy Fallon is not that great. He's actually kind of terrible, kind of cringe every time I think about Jimmy Fallon. And I can't remember who the other one is. It seems like there's one more. Oh, well, there was, yeah, Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert is still on the air, but he's supposed to get canceled in October, which maybe that'll get turned around now. Although he's got to feel kind of bad that he didn't get the same kind of outpouring that Jimmy Kimmel did. I guess it just wasn't so like, what was it? How did Colbert get canceled? It seemed like Trump canceled him too. Can y'all remind me in comments? Trapolium's a little concerning. Billionaires will hold Marty accountable. Who's Marty? Warren Graham says, when did the stream start? About 31 minutes ago. So we're going to shut it down probably pretty soon, honestly, because I don't really plan to go for the entire time that Jimmy Kimmel was going to be on the air. Jimmy Kimmel's back tomorrow, though. We won. We beat Trump. So we're celebrating that. Six Sense Amelia says, New Zealand became nuclear-free in 1987 because of nuclear testing in the South Pacific, USA, and France. I'm sorry about that, but at least you did that. Yeah, I've always thought we could be nuclear-free, too. At this point, I'm kind of like, we can do more nuclear. Just stop oil companies. Fuck them, you know? Like, whatever it takes to stop the stupid oil companies. But, no, nuclear... I've heard that nuclear is also stupid because it's like the energy is kind of an excuse for the weapons, even, you know, for anybody. So why? You know, why even have the weapons? I think being nuclear free for the Earth would be probably a wise thing. And then the aliens are probably, you know, once we progress to a certain point, the aliens will be like, you guys are cool. Like, we can hang out. Until then, there's no way they'll do that. Like, they're gonna use their technology to stay secret. And when you think about it, if we advanced our technology enough to go to other planets, we wouldn't know where to go. We don't know where anybody's at. But if we advance our social technology, if we advance our society, like our peace ability, to the point that aliens can trust us, then they'll just tell us where to go and we can hitch a ride with them to get there. Anthony says, damn, Jimmy won't be on local stations anymore, though. That's where most of his viewership is. I don't know anything about that, but local stations they can get a taste of it, too. If we cost Disney $4 billion, local stations can start to lose their value because people can start to protest and boycott them as well until they have to sell to somebody else who will show Jimmy Kimmel. You see how this works? The power is in our hands. We're the people. We, the people, have the power in America. We haven't been using it, but this was just a weekend thing that we beat Trump and brought Jimmy Kimmel back. Six Sense Amelia says, I followed George Carlin. Yeah, George Carlin's a good comedian. I was specifically focusing on the talk show hosts. I like Trey Crowder. He's on YouTube right now. TraeCrowder. And I like Sammy Obeid. Sammy Obeid is also on YouTube, is where I watch him. That's Sammy, Sammy, Obeid, I think. Obeid, maybe, but it's Sammy Obeid. He's really good. And so is Trey Crowder. Warren Graham says I have to go now. Bye. Bye, Warren Graham. Have a great night. Trepolian says bye. Bye, Trepolian. Or everybody saying goodbye to Warren Graham. Bye. And then Trucker Reviewed comes in and says gay. I just want to hear a Fox News host say ooh ooh. I mean, really. If I just hear a Fox News host say ooh ooh, I'll have the stroke I've been looking for, and I'll get to die in my old age. Did y'all hear Cash Patel's chat KGB transfic, his fanfic he wrote for Tyler Robinson and his remake? Yeah, Sammy Obeid does a good piece on that. I'm sure Trey Crowder will too. I'm sure Trey Crowder will have a lot to say about that. Trey Crowder's great. He's the liberal redneck, and he talks in a talks in a country accent. Talks in, I believe, a Tennessee accent. He talks in Tennessee, so he sounds kind of like this. He'll sit in his car and tell you, yeah, he's great. Check out Trey Crowder. Check out Sammy Obeid. He talks. Sammy Obeid doesn't have much of an accent, but Sammy Obeid talks about a lot of good things. That's Obied. I'm pretty sure. So anyway, it's not like you would think from the way it sounds. Jimmy Kimmel's back on the air. We won. I'm probably going to shut down the live unless anybody's got anything else they want to say. I'll do a musical number. But hey, we got Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. We won. We beat Trump. Let's do the next thing. Let's keep doing the next thing. Let's keep beating Trump. Let's beat the socks off of Trump. Let's beat him like an old rug. American people, like we, the American people, especially the left. Well, the left are the last Americans left. But yeah, the American people beat Trump. We got Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. We beat Disney. We cost Disney $4 billion because they chumped out to Trump. And you never do that. Never kowtow to Krasnov. So we sent a $4 billion lesson to the other companies. Never side with Trump. Side with the American people and never Trump. No, left has gotten control. We are the American people, and we're going to win, and we're going to get a lot of you Trumpers to become American again. We're going to make Trump-Putiners American again. We're going to break you out of the death grip that Trump and Putin have on y'all. Six Cents Amelia says, okay, good to see you all. Keep your spirits up. Looking forward to the upcoming protests in USA. Yes, and I like the one we do online. I call it the Pillow Revolution, hashtag Pillow Revolution. You're free to use that. For good purposes, of course. But yeah, use the hashtag Pillow Revolution, and we're just overthrow these guys from bed. Overthrow these guys on our phones. Overthrow these guys in our spare time, and overthrow these guys in our sleep when they do it to themselves. They tried to make a martyr out of Charlie Kirk, and failed, but they did make a martyr out of Jimmy Kimmel just by firing him for one weekend. They gave Jimmy Kimmel a long weekend, and he became a bigger martyr than fucking dumbass Charlie Kirk became, and they killed him. Mr. John Citizen Smith says, sure, buddy. 5 stages of grief. No, I'm not denying that they canceled Jimmy Kimmel. They brought Jimmy Kimmel back. We won. We beat Trump. We beat the socks off of Trump. We beat Trump like an old rug. We beat Trump like an old Russian rug. Six Sense of Me says New Zealand fought apartheid and won. Thank you, New Zealand. See, that's how you do it. You got to remember your heroes. The Joan of Arc of Mexico, Saint Teresa Urrea, was the most dangerous girl in Mexico, and they kicked her out of Mexico, and the church was chasing after her and killing off her community, and the army was killing off her community, and all this terrible stuff. But she like healed thousands of people all the time, and started the Mexican Independence War, and we got heroes. Six Sense Amelia says, and we got heroes like Jimmy Kimmel. Let me point that out. We got heroes like Jimmy Kimmel, who won. Jimmy Kimmel won today, and the American people won today. We beat MAGA. We beat Trump. We beat Putin. We beat Netanyahu. We beat all y'all jokers. Six Sense Amelia says, and we fought the nuclear proliferation and won. Good job. Keep it up. I bet New Zealand's done a lot of cool things. I remember you having a strong response after the terrorist attack there too. We don't have strong responses in America after the terrorist attacks. We have thoughts and prayers. Xterra for Hire says, actually, they said no. I don't know what that refers to. Actually, they said no. You'll have to provide a little more context if you want to be understood. So, if Amelia, Six Sense Amelia is taken off, we might just close the live down because she was the best participant in the live. Jimmy Kimmel. No, Jimmy Kimmel's back on the air. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel said no. Jimmy Kimmel turned him down. He's probably going to double his money. He's probably going to get a lot more money out of him. They just lost $4 billion over him. He deserves a big pay raise. Keep sticking up for your Constitution. We will. We will. We'll get um, even better at it. Now, again, one of the greatest things about beating Trump in this way is that people discover their power. People discover that what they were spending 20 or 30 bucks on, they can do something about that. And with their 20 or 30 bucks, in a collective way, can cost Disney $4 billion and get Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. Adam says, stop coming online. You are giving motivation for the unemployed. I don't understand what's wrong with that. Why shouldn't unemployed people be motivated? Um, Human Woman says, Kimmel should have started his own YouTube. Sucking Disney's nutsack isn't winning. I think it's winning. I mean, not that that's what he's doing, but I think getting back on TV, if that's what you're calling sucking Disney's nutsack, getting back on TV is winning. I think if we actually reward Disney by renewing our subscriptions, especially if they give people a discounted rate, an American Hero discounted rate, but if people renew their subscriptions now that they've turned back around, now that they've come back to the American side from the Trump side, then that's appropriate too. And you might want to watch these new Star Wars shows coming out. I'm excited about them, so I'm glad that I get to watch them and watch them guilt free. But yeah, I mean, I think going on TV, like being on TV, is important. People can minimize who watches TV, but a lot of people watch TV. Like a lot of people enjoy Jimmy Kimmel. I know I do when I watch him, but I usually watch him on YouTube. Like I usually watch his clips on YouTube. Okay. Waste of Space 20 says nice art. Thank you. I make some art. That one's not mine though. That one's from a girl named Doll. Adam says stop coming online. Are you giving motivation for the unemployed? Yeah, what's wrong with that? Got ourselves a Disney adult. King Yamaha says, sorry. Waste of Space says with tons of commercials. I don't know what has tons of commercials. So we won. Trump lost. We're gonna keep winning. We're gonna beat Trump like a rug. We're gonna get these Trump hooteners to become American again, or regret all the terrible, terrible stuff they've done and become American again. And I mean, I guess you don't think of yourselves as doing terrible things, but supporting Trump is a terrible thing. And so, to whatever extent you guys leave comments about supporting Trump, so y'all are in kind of deep, but whatever extent you supported Trump, you've been doing terrible things. And you're anti-American and you're anti-free speech and you're just terrible, terrible people. Terrible, terrible people underneath. You just throw off the Trumpism. No, King Yamaha. JD Vance isn't even. He'll probably be in jail by then. Like, seriously, these Trumpers, dude, they'll be lucky if they're in jail. Like, y'all don't understand how big this is turning around. Jimmy Kimmel's the turning point for USA, okay? Big turning point. You tried to make a martyr of, what's his name? Charlie Kirk. You tried to make a martyr of that Tucker Carlson guy, Charlie Kirk. That Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson guy, Charlie Kirk. Wait, no. Nick Fuentes is the one who got him killed. Sorry. Nick Fuentes' Groyper terrorist Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. And they tried to make a martyr of him, even though your own guys killed him. Stupid. And they failed to make a martyr of him because nobody cares. Nobody who matters cares. And so then they tried to start a civil war, but they didn't do it because nobody cares about Charlie Kirk. And then they tried to get something out of it, so they tried to fire Jimmy Kimmel over it, and they failed. People like Jimmy Kimmel a lot more than they like Charlie Kirk. People like Jimmy Kimmel enough that he became a martyr just for taking a long weekend. And Charlie Kirk took a dirt nap and didn't become a martyr because everybody hates him for good reasons. Six Sense of Me says they're going to end up at The Hague if they keep this up. If they're lucky. Americans don't play. Like, Americans, we do form posses. Hashtag grab them by the posse. Like, these Trump-Putiners don't even understand. The ICE agents have to take their masks off in California, I think, in 2 months. I think they get to wear their masks for 2 more months or something like that. But anyway, so maybe they'll focus all their attention on California to try to kidnap as many people as they can while they can still wear masks. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, they're getting outed. People hunt concentration camp guards for life. People hunt Nazis for life. So, I mean, we're in a digital age now. It's not going to be hard to track down all the ICE agents. Jason Roggenbuck says, keep rotting in your party of hate. Party of hate. No, I was just enjoying last night that Kimmel has to be off the air, celebrating that Jimmy Kimmel's coming back. And Trump lost. The American people won. 6 cents Amelia says, no hate here, buddy. Yeah, I guess really, I'm a pretty loving person. I love the people underneath the Trump Putin heads they put on you, or whatever you want to call it. And since they like swapped your brains out with this Trump Putin bullshit, I love the people that besides that. But yeah, I can't love the Trump Putin part. You guys got to extract that from me, just like we got to extract it from the country. But it's going to be easier now we got to this turning point. Now that Jimmy Kimmel is coming back on the air, and guess who's not coming back? Charlie fucking Kirk. You stupid whiners. Pimpin' Toad says, "What's with the crappy paintings? What's with the stupid name, Pimpin' Toads? What does Pimpin' Toads mean to you? Why would that be your YouTube name?" Oh, that's right. Your channel activity will probably say you've been on YouTube for like 3 months. Let's see. 9 years ago? I guess you can change your name. How long have you been Pimpin' Toads? 6 Cents Amelia says political parties are not mentioned in the U.S. Constitution, which predates the party system. Yeah, the parties are whatever. You a high school art teacher or something? Pimpin' Toads. What's up with your name? Like, you have a name like that. You can use letters to spell whatever name you want, and that's how you chose to represent yourself. And then you want to talk about my art. What's up with your name, Pimpin' Toads? 6 Cents Amelia. Charlie Kirk. Poetic justice. It is. And it's just, it's too convenient for Trump and Netanyahu, okay? Trump wants to keep the Epstein files quiet. He wants to send a message to people who demand to see the Epstein files, like Charlie Kirk did for one weekend. And then Charlie Kirk looked really scared, and he looked like he'd been threatened, and he said, I'm just going to stop talking about the Epstein files, and I'm going to just trust my government. And that could have got him shot, just because these Epstein, the Trump Boutonnieres are so crazy about the Epstein files. Oh my gosh. Pimpin' Toads is like, my real name is F.A.G. Healer. He's like, oh my gosh, why are Nazis so stupid and terrible? 6 Cents of Me says, yes, anything is possible. I forgot what I was even talking about. Probably Trump and Netanyahu killing Charlie Kirk, because Netanyahu had Charlie Kirk's support. And then Charlie Kirk apparently turned down $150 million in invitations to go to Israel. So Netanyahu was like, oh, maybe I don't have your support anymore and it's time to murder you. But Trump also had Charlie Kirk's support. But then Charlie Kirk was like, I demand the Epstein files, when Trump was first, like, obviously showing he's not going to reveal them. Charlie Kirk was like, for one weekend, Charlie Kirk was like, I demand the Epstein files. And then that Monday, he was like, I'm just going to be quiet and trust my government. I'm not going to say anything more about the Epstein files. I'm just going to trust my government. Like I said, that could have got him shot. Because Trump, Putineers, MAGAs are such terrorists. They could have shot him over that. But no, it was a groiper. It was a Nick Fuentes groiper. Rainbow trans flag love. Thank you for the rainbow trans flag love. Mr. Funkadelic says, who drew the art behind me? Me? Except for that one. I didn't do that one on the top. 6 Cents a Me says, trigger pimp him with pretty flags. Yeah, he's triggered. He's made some comment, which I guess I'll show just so people can track him down. People can hunt Nazis. We provide a lot of information on Nazis in this chat because they leave a bunch of breadcrumbs in the comments they choose to make. So good luck with that, Nazi hunters and Nazi hunting AIs of the future. Mr. Funkadelic, you have a cool name. I'm glad that you're here. Sorry. Celebrating Jimmy Kimmel being back in the air. I was going to close it out with a song, so Cash Patel, Nobody believes your story. How's it go? Oh yeah, okay. Cash Patel, nobody believes your story. You're just telling on yourself. I forgot the tune now. Okay, Cash Patel, nobody believes your story. You're just telling on yourself. Cash Patel, your lies are really Civil War-y. Chat KGB writes the stupid shit you spew. And then the other song is, do you remember the FBI on a meth bender? Cash was changing Tyler's roommate's gender while they're helping Groypers get away. The original song was, of course, do you remember the 21st night of September? Love was changing the minds of pretenders while it's chasing the clouds away. But then the Cash Patel version is, do you remember the FBI on a meth bender? Cash was changing Tyler's roommate's gender while they're helping Groypers get away. Can you make a song with the text sonnets the shooter sent? The text sonnets? You mean the My Love stuff? The Cash Patel Chat GPT stuff? My songs were just about the Cash Patel Chat KGB stuff. But the text sonnets? When you say sonnets, are you referring to the text he supposedly sent his lover, his roommate? The poetry. What poetry? I didn't hear any poetry. It might have been a new release that I didn't hear about today. I gotta shut down the live real soon though, so um can you give me an example? My love in a vehicle and dying of old age. Yes, okay, yeah. Those sonnets, yeah. The Victorian era sonnets. I know what you're saying, yeah. Okay, yeah, sure. Sure, I'll put them in there. I was just gonna make fun of Cash Patel for making them in the first place. But yeah, I'll do it. I'll make a song about it. Six Cents a Million. I was gonna do a song called Charlie Kirk Dead at 31, because before this, Tyler Robinson Groyper admitted to it. They blamed Sky Valadez, who's an actual trans person. Like they were all about blaming trans people every step of the way. And when they couldn't blame a trans person anymore because a non-trans person admitted to it, they came up with a trans roommate in order to bring in the trans hate as much as they possibly could. Six Sense of Me says, I think Elon writes Donald's tweets and Truth Social. I think Putin writes all Trump's stuff. I mean, Trump might write some of it, but Putin is in control of like Trump's whole mind. Trump has a mind of Putin's own. They're just so tech bro on Ket. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read his social enough. You might be right, because if that's what it smells like, that's probably what it is. Mr. Funkadelic says, my love in a vehicle dying of old age. Womp womp, says Rose Iden. Yeah, so Jimmy Kimmel's back. We won. American people won. Jimmy Kimmel will be on this time tomorrow night. So y'all enjoy the Jimmy Kimmel show. I know I'm super excited about it. Thanks to Don Lemon. He's the one who broke the news to me. I was really excited about it. Thanks to everybody who helped by posting, by talking about it, by commenting, by boycotting. The boycott allowed me to keep my Disney Plus, but you guys who boycotted probably will get to come back at a really cheap introductory rate. Like for a while it was $3 a month or something. So, oh my gosh, whatever I take videos of says you're getting old and have nothing better to do with your time than be hateful. Your teeth are messed up and you're balding. I'm the one who's hateful. You have the brain capacity of a goldfish. It's like he's. Anyway, I'm not going to speculate. Rose Iden says, Rose Iden? Crooked teeth, huh? Whose eyebrows are these? I'm no vampire. So why are my eyebrows like trees? These eyebrows are the eyebrows of Edward. Or possibly Stephen. Whose eyebrows are these? They are his, they're not mine. He will suck out your life and use it to grow eyebrows. And vampire eyebrows will tempt you. I want eyebrows this size to clutter my gaze again. Eyebrows will make the world in love with me. I want eyebrows like V's. Okay. See you next time. Take care. Be safe, everyone. Says Six Cents Amelia. You too. Foreign Warren, who I still like your name, says excellent. Whatever I take videos of says yeah. Whatever I videotape says yikes. Put that chainsaw away. I mean, that's funny, but Six Cents Amelia says the alternative to getting old sucks. Yeah, seriously. Mr. Funkadelic says not really a win. Republicans got the Disney base mostly to turn on the company. Mostly liberal. Disney for ages has been at the forefront of being diverse. Well, you better stay at the forefront. Don't go to the back of the bus. Don't buck Trump. You deserve to lose $4 billion if you obey Trump. And that sends a lesson to these other companies. Don't obey Trump. Listen to the American people. Fuck Trump. We all hate Trump. All Americans hate Trump. Only people who like Trump are Trump-ooteniers, and y'all betrayed America. You don't deserve to call yourselves Americans. Whatever I take videos of says you're gonna rot of old age soon. Anyway, so thanks y'all. Cash Patel, nobody believes your story. So yeah, we all know it's bullshit, and MAGA's gonna die on Jimmy Kimmel Hill, so we're gonna let it. You guys are idiots. You had just enough time with Jimmy Kimmel off the air for all y'all to jump on and pile on and talk about how proud you were that you canceled Jimmy Kimmel and showed how much you betrayed free speech. A few of you didn't. It's actually interesting that like Ted Cruz or a few other ones stuck out for like actually being about free speech instead of y'all's Nazi bullshit. But the ones that went along with it did it for nothing. Jimmy Kimmel didn't even cancel. He came back after 3 days just like Jesus. Six Cents of Me says the world doesn't think that much of Trump either. No, everybody hates Trump. Thank you. Humans hate Trump. You Trump-ooteniers are degrading yourselves. You got to come out from under that bullshit, and we'll accept you. We'll feel sorry for you. We'll be grateful and happy, like prodigal son status. You guys came back to America instead of being Trump-ootenier traitors anymore, especially because we're going to save some lives. Every one of you we turn back into an American could end up being responsible for who knows how many lives we save. So it could be thousands or millions of lives we save just by bringing one of you back from that Trump terrorist bullshit. Thanks, Vincent Amelia. Love and peace to New Zealand. Thanks. It's nice to talk to you again. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. I'm so grateful that even on Yet and YouTube, even with all these Trump-ootenier trolls in my life, I get to meet some really cool people, and they even stick around and talk to me in my life sometimes. Six Cents Amelia was here the whole time, so thanks, you're awesome. We'll see you soon. Next time I'll sing you a song, but I'll sing the first part of a song anyway. Love's not a place you go, then you're through with it. Home isn't quite like any other town. Everywhere I go, just add something new to it. I take it with me and I never turn around. I won the race like Jimmy Kimmel and the American people today. We beat Trump. I left the sun out in space. I was the first one on the ground. I can't complain. It welcomes me like the rain. Guess I just made a softer sound. Cloud Queen, I gotta go. Comment on my stuff though. Let's stay in touch. Welcome to the Fairy Liberation Front. And congratulations, we won. Thanks everybody. We beat Trump. We get Jimmy Kimmel back tomorrow night. So talk to you soon. Thanks, love you. Y'all have fun. See you next time.